In Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, it feels like the next assault battle is always around the corner, and we've talked ad nauseum on our channel about how valuable these assault battles are to get up and running on your account as soon as possible. As soon as you get them going, these things give you recurring rewards every month for a simple sim push over and over and over and over again. We've been doing a lot of testing here on our channel here for a lot of min-maxes, seeing what teams work, what teams don't work, where they, how far these teams can get. We've tried out different teams. We've done a lot of testing for assault battles on this channel. We're going to talk today about the minimum teams you need for different tiers and different parts of every assault battle in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. Plus, we'll expand our horizons a little bit and talk about different teams that might work. I will say this, there are infinite possibilities on several of these assault battles that can work for you, but there are definitely the best way to do each one. I said that a little weird, but there's definitely a best way to do each assault battle in this game. So without further ado, let's take a look at the best teams and the best min-max teams, or the best and most minimum teams. I'm struggling here. Assault battles in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Well, greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars Dad, Nuge Too Good, and yes, it's time to talk about all these teams, the min-maxes, the teams you need for all the assault battles in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes that we've been testing out here on the channel for quite some time now. We're going to start with Fanatical Devotion. But before I jump into Fanatical Devotion, I'm going to point out, as I have in the past, less than 50% of you that are watching this video are subscribed to the channel. Please drop a sub on there, turn the alerts on. It helps you get notified when we drop videos on YouTube, so you can go out there and check out what the current content is. It also helps support the channel that is, giving you everything you need to have in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. Drop a sub out there, everybody. Okay, Fanatical Devotion. I actually view this, believe it or not, I think there's a couple of there are several assault battles that have fixed levels, when we look at them, and we'll get to like Duel of Fates, Peridea Pals, we'll get to all of them. But Fanatical Devotion, I got through Challenge Tier 2 with a team of Tuskens in this game. I could not get through Challenge Tier 3. I think my Tuskens were at Relic 5, maybe even Relic 7. I can't remember where they were. But generally speaking, if you're going to get through the final tiers of this, you've got to have the Inquisitors, and Reva makes it really work for you in the best way possible. It's really kind of it is very, very fixed. You're not going to bring out a low gear team. You're not going to play any tricks on this. You're not going to fool it. There's just nothing really tricky you can do this. You've got to have high relic characters, whether they are what are they, Tusken Raiders, or whether they are Inquisitors. So you just got to farm the stuff, get out there. It's the one we talk about probably least on this channel, just because it's so fixed. It's like, if you got Tuskens, go out and try those guys out, and Tuskens aren't ideal. If you want to get through Challenge Tier 3, go get your Inquisitors, get Reva, and make it happen. So Fanatical Devotion, I don't have a lot to add to this one, except the teams required. Get them at high relic levels, get their Zetas on them, and go out there and get after Fanatical Devotion. The second one I want to talk about is a very different story. One of the most fun things I've ever done and or get to do on this channel is playing the Forest Moon Assault Battle with my Imperial Troopers, Gar Saxon, Imperial Super Commando. I'm going to give some credit here. Rabbit Beaver did this somewhere around a year and a half ago, and was the first one to really expose the community to this. I think there was somebody also a while ago that did it, but with Gar Saxon, Imperial Super Commando getting damage immunity on themselves whenever they get to their first time where they're supposed to die, and then they just tank all the hits, you can get through this thing at low gear levels. Let's take a look at this gear level here. We've got a Gear 11 General Veers, a Gear 11 Admiral Piet, a Gear 11 Range Trooper, a Gear 8 Gar Saxon, and a Gear 8 Imperial Super Commando. Now, I've had different gear levels on this over time. You can see that I've got Veers' Zeta, and I've got Admiral Piet's Emperor's Trap Zeta on here. Those are the only Zetas. I don't even think I had major mods on this when I got this assault battle done at Challenge Tier 3, at the max Challenge Tier, with this low gear team in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. It really is amazing, and to me, it's worth it to spend that Cantina energy early on for Gar Saxon and Imperial Super Commando. Let's get to the action here. Come on, show me some action. So, I don't know. This is some of the most fun thing I've done on the channel at any point of playing this game at any time. Now, if you look at other alternatives, if you want to go up higher gear levels, you, of course, I think that Sanjita recently did this with like a full Empire team to challenge Tier 3. It's definitely difficult getting Palpatine and Vader out there. It can be done. You just got to do it the right way. It's got to really fit. You know, it's got to really tie into there. Got to really have the right RNG. That's what I was looking for. You can also do this with just an Imperial Trooper team at mostly Gear 12 with like a Relic Piet and maybe a Relic Dark Trooper. Now, the thing about Dark Trooper and or Moff Gideon using them here, they're great. They perform really well. They do a lot of good things with like Armor Shred, pulling Turn Meter away, and Dark Trooper just doing tons and tons and tons and tons of damage, which is nice. But both those characters caused a bunch of Kyrotechs, and you can see over here the characters that I'm using, only Admiral Piet is a Kyrotech heavy character, and that's why I like this low. You know, you do spend Cantina energy on Garsax and Imperial Super Commando. It doesn't take you all that long to unlock a character in Cantina when they're double. It's like 2 to 3 weeks. You'll get them maxed out. I just love doing this, but you can do it with Imperial Troopers, Gear 12 with a Relic Piet and a Relic Dark Trooper. There are some droid teams out there that I don't think the droids really get this done. Maybe somebody's got a droid team, let us know about that. But yeah, you can put together a crazy Empire team, get the right RNG, get through Tier 4 is the hardest one to get through, and Tier 8, those are the most difficult ones. You can put those together. You can do a different Imperial Trooper team, but this one is the lowest gear, lowest cost investment into a challenge Tier 3 assault battle of any assault battle in the game. I love Forest Moon. Oh, one more thing. I also, when I very first unlocked Lord Vader, I've got a video out there of Lord Vader doing this too. Lord Vader with like Thrawn and Piet and Royal Guard. Lord Vader can get through this assault battle as well. And I would bet with his clones, he's probably just as effective, if not more effective, in this assault battle than he was back when I did it back in the day. Now, the Peridea Patrol. This is actually one of the two newest assault battles from last year, Duel of the Fates and Peridea Patrol. Peridea Patrol is kind of an enigma and it is definitely challenging, and it's tough to know where you gotta have all these characters to make this thing work. But when you look at it, if you get these guys to 7 stars, you get them Relic, you get all the Zetas, you get good mods on them, you can make things happen in Peridea Patrol pretty easily. But what you're watching right now is me doing this with, like, I had them Relic, but I was missing Zetas on these and not great mods, and I really struggled even on the very first tier of Peridea Patrol. So you can't go in with low gear, non-Zeta, non-well modded Peridea pals. No matter how you do this with Captain Enoch, Night Trooper, and Death Trooper Peridea, you've got to invest in these characters to get the Peridea Patrol done at pretty much any level. I have done a little bit of research. It looks like I hear tell, well, my green screen's struggling over there, but I hear tell that you might be able to pull this off with the right RNG with Gear 12 Peridea pals with all their Zetas and good mods. Did we get this done? It looks like we did get it done. Okay, did we get it done? Something happening over there? Can he not die? There you go. Okay, we did get that done. So the Peridea Patrol is just not an assault battle that you can do again, much like the Inquisitor one. I can never remember the name of that thing. The Inquisitor Tusken one. There's not a lot of low investment wins here in the Peridea Patrol. You pretty much got to have these guys at least at 7 stars and Gear 12 to get through the first couple of tiers, and then the third tier where you're going to get some mod material, which is really nice, you're probably going to have them Relict and or with their Zetas and some decent mods. But I like I said, I've heard that maybe you can do that at Gear 12. I just haven't really experienced that on my own. So Peridea Patrol's got some fixed requirements in there, whether you like it or not. And then, of course, at the end of it, Relic 5, Relic 7, Relic 9, those are the next tiers to hit. I always believe that Relic 7 is the minimum to go to. I don't think Relic 5 is a good stopping point, but the rewards in Peridea Patrol are excellent. And kind of right in line with Peridea Patrol, the Duel of the Fates. These assault battles both came out in 2024. They're newer assault battles in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and they both, at the upper levels, have requirements for Relic 5, Relic 7, Relic 9, very similar, with some slightly different rewards, but in both both cases, the rewards are absolutely telling you Relic 7 is your minimum stopping point from there. The difference being that with Duel of the Fates, you can actually go in with Gear 8 characters, and I've got a Zeta on Padawan Obi-Wan. My first Omicron on my new free-to-play account was Padawan Obi-Wan to help me get through Conquest. The Zeta on Padawan Obi-Wan, nothing there on Master Qui-Gon. They got decent mods. You can go into tier 3 of this event at gear 8 with these two characters. And the first two tiers you could do, I think even at 5 stars and stuff. And I think this one actually lends itself more to working at these lower gear levels, at the lower levels of it. So you can get a bunch of mod material with gear 8, Padawan Obi-Wan, and Master Qui-Gon. Of course, once you get through that third tier, tiers 4, 5, and 6 are Relic 5, 7, and 9. And I really do believe that everybody should... my first 2 relics on my new free-to-play account were Padawan, Obi-Wan, and Master Qui-Gon. I believe if you want to feed your roster for a long time in this game with mod materials and all the relic slicing materials and signal data and everything else you get from this assault battle, this is a really good early team to invest in. You go get a Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron, it becomes a great Grand Arena team. There's a lot of reasons to invest in Padawan, Obi-Wan, and Master Qui-Gon as your first relic characters on your roster. I took them to Relic 7. I don't regret one bit of it. I'm getting to the next to last tier of this assault battle every single month. Now, Secrets and Shadows is definitely an interesting and long-winded story. For years and years, we sat in this game moaning about Secrets and Shadows and how it was almost impossible to get through this thing with the original Mother Talzin Night Sisters. But Great Mothers have really turned this into a very doable assault battle for us. What would happen previously with the previous Night Sisters is you get to tier 4, which you'll see here. It'll pop up on screen in a moment, I promise you. And then Sidious comes out. You guys have all done it. It's an AoE, wipes out your whole team, you move on. I've made shorts where I go through it like 13, 14 times. The key to doing this with the original Night Sisters with the Mother Talzin team is to have a big old beefy old Daka with tons and tons of health, some crit avoidance, some defense, so that she could survive that shot from Sidious and then revive the whole team, and boom, Bob's your uncle. You're on your way to success there. Now I got through challenge tier 2. Did I get through challenge tier 2? I think I did, or I came really close to it and felt like it was very doable, but I had some bad RNG where you could do challenge tier 2 with Gear 12 Night Sisters. So Mother Talzin, what's going on here? We don't want to be reading Discord. What's going on? All right, keep going. So with Mother Talzin, they were all Gear 12 except old Daka. Mother Talzin, Zombie, Asajj, and I think I had Talia in there. No, Marin has to be in there. Yeah, Marin was in there. It was maybe Talia instead of Asajj. I'm not sure. But I think you'd have them all at Gear 12 and then have old Daka at Relic 7 or above. And if you find the right RNG, you can get through Challenge Tier 2 of this assault battle. If you want to make your life easy, Relic them all, get them all to Relic 7. You got to have all the Zetas. You got to have all the Zetas on the original Night Sister team, no matter what. And you're gonna be in for some pain. Go watch me playing on the channel. But Great Mothers is now out, and I believe that this is the team you should be farming for this assault battle. They made it easy. They made it easy. Something that had been a huge pain in this game for years and years and years. I kid you not. On many accounts, on lots of people's accounts for years, they never did Challenge Tier 3 of this assault battle. Even like end gamers, major late gamers, never did Challenge Tier 3 of this assault battle, because even with everybody at like Relic 7 and 8, it still was not a guarantee. You had to have the right RNG. Great Mothers makes it work. I highly recommend using this team here instead of that Talzin team. Let's fast forward a little bit here. Let's watch this happen here. So this team, what would happen here is, you guys have seen it. Cities comes out, wipes you out. Great Mothers just handles it. So go get that Great Mothers team. It really is a better way and a much more sane way for you to handle Secrets and Shadows. By the way, Phoenix do okay here. It can also be using Phoenix. I do recommend them for the early game. You know, it's one of the first teams I unlocked. I got through challenge tier 1 of this, not at 3 stars. It's difficult to get 3 stars of the Phoenix because of Nihilus annihilating at the end. But I can get through challenge tier 1 of this with my Phoenix. I think they're like gear 11-ish somewhere. They're not gear 12. You can do that. But as far as getting it simmed every month and making it really work for you and getting the rewards in challenge tier 2 and 3, it's Night Sisters all the way, and Great Mothers are just the best way to go about it. Places of Power is one that I've really been focusing a lot on lately with my Sith. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, you can use Sith or First Order. Even if you have Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Sith just work better here with the right team compositions put out there. You could do it with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and it was the way we did this a long time in the game until this became simmable. This was, you know, for a long time we didn't have sims on assault battles. You put Kylo out there and he would run through it. It would take forever, but he would get through it. But it's just a bear using the First Order in this assault battle. So you know, if you've got the First Order, you farm Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, go ahead and do it. You're just going to find some challenges. If you really want to get after this assault battle, the team right there is what you're looking at. You're looking at Palpatine, Malak, Bastila Shan, Darth Vader, and then a 5th spot, which could be Nihilus, which could be Darth Revan. Those would be the main 2 I really would think of there. Other Sith kind of tend to struggle, but that's the main team. What I found out on my own is that Darth Vader is really, really necessary. Landing all of the dots, the merciless massacre, he was a necessity. I didn't think he was. And by the way, these guys, to get through challenge tier 3, they're all relic 3 to 5. You gotta have a relic 3 to 5 to get through challenge tier 3. Challenge tier 2, you could do with them at gear 12. I got it done. That can happen. And lower than that, you know, challenge tier 1 is, you know, usually thing that's doable generally around gear 11 for most characters and teams. I am told, and I actually looked it up, Sanjita accomplished challenge tier 3 just yesterday. Happy Gilmore accomplished that feat just yesterday, but Sanjita also did. He got challenge tier 3 done without Darth Malak, and that's quite a feat. That's actually extremely impressive. He subbed into this lineup Darth Revan instead of Darth Malak. He had to do it a few times on the final tier. That really got to him on tier 8 out of 8. I think Darth Malak is ideal here. He really fits it much more, you know, fits into this much more than Darth Revan would, but apparently it could be done with a few tries out there. So, First Order, okay, a lot of you guys have First Order because of Lightspeed bundles. They will do some good in here. It's just, I'm just telling you, getting through it with Kylo, and I think if I remember right, it's been a little while. I almost think you want to have Kylo Ren amassed in the lead. Don't quote me on that. But, you know, if they're gaining turn meter, they're going to start losing health, and they lose health over time. They never get it back. So be prepared for some pain with your First Order characters. There's some good old videos out there. If you want to do it right, get all the way to challenge tier 3 and be able to sim this because you 3 started. It's going to be the Sith, Palpatine, Malak, Bastila Shan Fallen, and Darth Vader, Nihilus, Darth Revan over there, and like I mentioned, you know, our pal Sanjita did it without Darth Malak, so good luck to you. I'd rather have him in there. Makes my life just a little bit easier there with Darth Malak just draining life. It's just good stuff. Up next for us is Ground War, where your Jedi are taking on Separatists. This is another one that there's one character here that really fits in and makes this thing go, and it is Jedi Knight Luke, not in the spot he's at right there. We're going to run this in a minute. Jedi Knight Luke is the really only way in the game to get through Challenge Tier 3. I have not heard of another Jedi that can really lead the way through Challenge Tier 3 of this assault battle, although you can get through the earlier tiers with some different Jedi teams. I think the other teams are Ugnaughts and Jawas or something. Like, just forget about it. It's all about the Jedi in Ground War. Let's watch me load this up here. So you've got to have Jedi Knight Luke leading the team, and you've got to have Grandmaster Yoda in there spreading buffs around constantly. You bring Jedi Knight Revan along for the Savior and Jolie Bendo to do any reviving. There are some mixes of teams you can use as long as you got Jedi Knight Luke in the lead spot with his leadership Zeta. You've got to have his leadership Zeta. And one thing to note here, I've seen some posts out there. I did this with Yoda at gear 12. I've seen some posts out there that you can go in there with like a purple gear Jedi Knight Luke, like at gear 11, you know, gear 10 or 11, and still get this thing done with a similar or the same team that's on the screen right now. So be aware that you can maybe go in there with low gear Jedi Knight Luke and get this done for the assault battle. But you do have to have Jedi Knight Luke for Challenge Tier 3. For Challenge Tiers 1 and 2, you could bring out a Jedi Jedi Knight Revan team with GK, General Kenobi. Grandmaster Yoda is actually the most important character at Challenge Tiers 1 and 2, so he can be sharing buffs, because what Grandmaster Yoda does is a couple of things. You use the event special to add like 8 buffs to Grandmaster Yoda. Then you AoE with him, you get an immediate bonus turn, and you spread the buffs out to everybody, and somewhere in that order. I have to go back and look exactly how I did it. But he just is constantly sharing buffs with the you're watching him do it right there. He just did it right there. He clicked on the event special, then he shared all the buffs. Then my entire team is buffed to the hilt, and they go out and they kill Separatist droids. So there are ways to do this below Challenge Tier 3 with different sets of Jedi. Jedi Knight Luke is going to be a requirement for Challenge Tier 3. Now, I did test this with Jedi Knight Luke with the Poncho Bros in there, and I also tested it with Jedi Knight Revan leading and the Poncho Bros and other Poncho Bro teams. The Poncho Bros, you know, Poncho Bros is Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan, by the way, that you use for Duel of the Fates. They were okay getting through Challenge Tier 1. And even then, they sometimes struggled. Challenge Tier 2, they just weren't really great. They don't really fit into this assault battle. Their mechanics aren't really doing a bunch of stuff. So when you're looking at this early on, Jedi Knight Revan is going to open this assault battle to you in a big way. Although you could take some Jedi out early that you've got. You could take, you know, like a Mace Windu lead with your Poncho Bros and Grandmaster Yoda sharing buffs and foresight and another Jedi. And you can get through like the mythic tier, maybe eventually Challenge Tier 1 with those guys, you know, relic levels. Eventually, though, this is the way you want to go, like this, or for Challenge Tier 2, just Jedi Knight Revan in charge. So those are the teams out there, and maybe even Jedi Knight Luke at low gear levels. The thing is, Jedi Knight Luke, one of his main purposes in the game is to unlock Jabba the Hutt and Jedi Master Luke and that whole farming path for you. So in order to make that happen, you have to Relic 7 him anyway. So, you know, the min-max is there. Doesn't have a ton of value for us over time. I'm not really sure about that, but that's the way you do the ground war assault battle. Now, military might is an assault battle that I have tested a lot of teams. I mean, I've done a lot of testing on this assault battle, and the team above is just the best way to do it. Your full CLS team, CLS 3PO, Chewbacca, Han Solo, and Chewpio. I did here, this is Challenge Tier 3 with Chewpio at Gear 11. I've got all the Zetas on the team, not all the Zetas, I guess, well, 3, 2, 1. Actually, I do have all the Zetas here. I think I'm missing one on Chewbacca, the one that prevents daze and stun. I don't have that one, but yeah. So I think that you can actually do this with C3PO at less than relic levels. But you can see relic 2, relic 1, relic 1, and relic 1, and then gear 11 down there. I think you can even go with C3PO at non-relic levels, just because as soon as he stealths, you know, as long as he stays alive. I've even heard tell that maybe you could do this with some more characters in gear 12. I struggled a little bit until I got like CLS at relic 2 to get this done. But I have gone through, and when I say extensive testing, I mean it. I've done the Bad Batch clones here, and the Bad Batch clones were okay up until you got to the challenge tiers. And to get through Challenge Tier 2, I actually had to put the OG Rex as the lead for the 4 Bad Batch clones, and then I got through Challenge Tier 2. I could not get through Challenge Tier 3 with the Bad Batch here, and they were Zeted up and geared. They were really well put together, and they just did not quite do it for me here. You know, and we did that on our Lord Vader account. We were farming Bad Batch to get Lord Vader, right? The Phoenix will also perform pretty well here. I have heard that at Gear 12, people have gotten them through Challenge Tier 2. I've never done that. I've not been able to do that. The problem with the Phoenix, you know, the event special here for this assault battle is everybody gets counterattack, and then whenever a character attacks out of turn, the rest team has a 50% chance to assist the person attacking out of turn. Well, CLS does a lot of counterattacking, attacking out of turn, calls to assist. So there's just tons and tons and tons of assists going on, and that's a major deal. The Phoenix have similar mechanics, counterattack, calls to assist, and everything, a lot of that. The problem is they start off a lot slower. With CLS, Han Solo shoots first, right? We know that. Han Solo shoots first. He lands a couple of debuffs out there, and those debuffs fuel the Commander Luke Skywalker team turn meter, and you get the turn meter going and good things start to happen. The Phoenix turn meter takes a little bit longer to get going, and as such they just sit out there and they take beatings for a while until they really get into gear. Maybe with really good mods, the Phoenix could get through Challenge Tier 2 for you at Gear 12. I don't recall, did anybody tell me they did Challenge Tier 3 with the Phoenix? I don't think so. I think when you get to Challenge Tier 3, the CLS team is really the way to go, and you gotta farm the CLS team. Guys, if you're not farming the CLS team, somewhere by the time you get to the mid-game, you haven't done the game right. I don't know what to say. Even if you're going the gas path, get the CLS team. This team is great. It does so many things in so many different parts of the game. It is a fun team. It's just one of the best teams in the game with this team put together. So CLS is the best way to do it. Your early Phoenix will get some work done on this. They'll chop some wood up to Challenge Tier 1. If you want to farm Bad Batch early on, they're going to be okay here. They're just not going to be great. 500 first clones, I think, fall into the same area as Bad Batch, where they're going to do okay, maybe through Challenge Tier 1, maybe Challenge Tier 2 as well. But this is the team. This is the team that's going to get you through Challenge Tier 3 at the lowest investment for the military might. So let me find for the military might assault battle. Now, Rebel Roundup is going to be our last assault battle we're going to talk about. The team over there, these Imperial Troopers. I really love playing with my Imperial Troopers. Said that out loud. These guys at Gear 10, Gear 9 are going to get through Challenge Tier 1 with no problem. Challenge Tier 2 is when the problems begin for you, and if you take a look there, I just got wiped out on the first turn of that. Challenge Tier 2 is where the problems begin. I'm going to go ahead and replay this over and over and over again. You've got to get these troopers at Challenge Tier 2 up to at least Gear 12, and then Challenge Tier 3, you've really got to have Relic Troopers to get through this. Now, I do hear tell, once again, I hear tell, being able to go through Challenge Tier 3 with like Gear 12 troopers and a Relic Piet and a Relic Dark Trooper. I still think it's going to be difficult. You got to get the right RNG. The first tier is absolutely the hardest. It is absolutely the hardest. If you get through the first tier, you've got a real chance to cruise through the rest of it on cruise control. And then tier 7, Han actually removes all of your stacks of Emperor's Trap, which is annoying, but then you can stack it all back up again and get ready for the final tier. Something else I was going to say here. Oh, Unfortunately, Gar Saxon and Imperial Super Commando are not available to you for this assault battle. It's just Imperial Troopers and Bounty Hunters for the Rebel Roundup assault battle. Now, Bounty Hunters, they can do well for you here as well through Challenge Tier 1. If you want to get through Challenge Tier 2 and 3, you really got to have Grief and Mando in there. Mando doing his auto kill or his insta kill. Disintegration, one might say, and they can get through Challenge Tier 3 as well if they're at high relic levels. It's going to be more of an investment than it will be in the Imperial Troopers to get through this assault battle. You got to invest in a lot of those, those bounty hunters. You got to invest in anyway to go get your executor, and just generally speaking, they're a pretty well-rounded team, although they kind of fade into the late game. But bounty hunters are a good team here. I just always prefer Imperial Troopers because there's a lot of joy for me in playing with the Imperial Troopers in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. So that's what I'm looking at this with. The other thing is, I'll say this: the event special for the Imperial Troopers sucks. Like they attack over and over again with lowering levels of accuracy, so they just miss and miss and miss and miss. When you look at the bounty hunters, their event ability is actually really good. If you hit the event ability and then an enemy dies on that turn or is defeated on that turn, your character gets a bump. I think it's an offense and health. They get a bump. They get a little triangle above them, and I think it's extra health, extra offense, and critical damage. Just something. Give them a big boost. So by the end, you got Boba Fett just one-shotting people and doing some really cool stuff. So bounty hunters can work here. Imperial Troopers can work here. To get through the higher levels of it, you're just going to have to add some gear, and there's no getting around it with this one. But the lower levels are pretty accessible with a lower gear Imperial Trooper team all the way through Challenge Tier 1. And that, boys and girls, is going to wrap up our little discussion of minimum teams and all the teams that will work in these assault battles from top to bottom. Let me know. I'm sure I've left something out. I did look up on YouTube and out there in the Reddit-verse and the Twitter, well, not Twitter-verse. I looked it up out there on the internet-verse for different teams that would work. I did find some variances out there on some of these assault battles, especially for ones where you can use your whole Empire squad, your whole bounty hunters, whatever. There were some variances for sure. The teams I've shown you today are the teams I'm using, the teams that I feel are the most efficient ways to get these assault battles done. Again, tell me in comments, where am I missing it? Where's a team that you've used that worked great for you that I left out today? It was good to talk to all of you today. I will talk to you very soon once again. Of course, as we said earlier, like and subscribe. 50% of you are not subscribed. And have a good one. I will talk to you soon. Always remember, Nooch too good.